This renovation company generated $600,000 in estimates in just 2 weeks using our local SEO process. We have a video interview with Elijah. He's one of the co-owners of Gracia Makeovers. He talked about his whole experience and what that did for him and his business, and it's absolutely insane, which is why I'm making this video talking about what we did and how we were able to do this. So before he started working with us, they were completely invisible on Google. They had a lot of Google reviews, but there was one thing that was preventing them from showing up. They relied heavily on door-to-door sales, which was 95% of their business. And then in just 2 weeks, again, they got $600,000 in estimates, and I'm going to reveal to you the exact system. So let's get right into it. So just briefly about them, they were a general contractor company in the GTA in Canada. They did kitchen renos, bathrooms, basements, custom homes, like a lot of you general contractors out there. And they were getting precisely 0 organic leads, and 95% of it was word of mouth and door-to-door. Here's Elijah and his co-owner. So the problem was they had a good foundation. They had an Instagram page, they had a Facebook, they had a website, but no one was finding them organically, and this is how he fixed it. So the first thing is they had to get a physical location. So if you notice on a Google business profile, there's always going to be an address. So when I search for Toronto home renovation contractor, you're going to see there's going to be a few Google Maps listings here. Here's the goal of where we're trying to show up. And if you notice that whenever I hover over any of them, it's showing me the pinpoint on the map because that is their physical address. They have an address that's verified at that location, which is a big reason why these companies are able to show up on this Google Map places right here. You'll notice that Google prioritizes this over the organic search here, and this drives a lot more leads than this section. So I had to tell Elijah, listen, you have to get a physical address in your target area. So he was able to get an office in Oakville that same day. And the office doesn't need to be big. People think, oh, overhead, it's going to cost so much money, I need a warehouse. You literally don't need anything that big. It could just be like a small office. It could be like a 1-person, 2-person office. You get the listing, you get the papers, you verify through Google. The verification process requires you to take a video showing the location, the street, just to prove you're there. And then once you're verified, you're set. So the reason you have to do this is that Google will barely show your Google business profile if you do not have an address. When I open this list right here and press more places, you're going to see probably for the first 3 pages, they are all going to be companies that have a physical address. So as you see, address, 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 address. All these companies, addresses. So it is super important. And I'm not even kidding. You can have double, triple the amount of reviews. If you do not have a physical address, you are not going to show up in this section, period. So Elijah got the address settled. He verified it. It's all good. Now we have to do the initial Google business profile optimization. So what do we have to optimize? We have to optimize the primary category. So what do I mean by that? So when I search for Toronto home renovation contractor, you're going to see that this text right here, general contractor, that is the primary category of the Google business profile. There's a primary category, then there's additional categories. There's a lot of people out there that don't have the correct general contractor. So for example, in Google business profile, another common category is construction company. But if you notice here that all of these companies here have general contractor. So what does that mean? You have to work backwards from Google. Whatever Google is prioritizing at the top is what you have to do as well. So if the top 3 people have general contractor, then we also need to follow their footsteps and have a physical location and also change the primary category here to general contractor. Then you need to look at the business name. So if you notice again here that there's going to be some companies here that have the word Toronto in the name of their business. So if you're able to add the word Toronto or home renovation, which is the name of the service, if you're able to add both of these into the name of your company, that's going to help you tremendously. So this company here, Sosna, they're able to show up here because they have the word kitchen and they have the word Toronto and they have a lot of reviews and they have that primary category and they have that address as well. So if you're able to add that name or add the name of the city, it's going to help a lot. Then there's the business description. So if you scroll down here, you're going to see there's a huge description usually. And in this, you should also just describe everything that you do, where you do it, just to give Google more and more context of what you do and where you do it, so it knows where to rank you. And then photos is a huge part. So ranking high is one thing, but once you rank high, people are going to go through these photos and subconsciously judge whether they even want to contact you or not. So you got to ask yourself, do you have good photos that look professional and look clean and look like the type of renovation that people dream for? Or is it blurry iPhone photos that look like it was taken mid-job and looks like it was clumsily taken? People are making these judgments about your company, so you need to be extremely detailed about what type of photos you post. And not only what type of photos you post, but you also have to post consistently, because Google likes companies that just keep their Google business profile active. This company, again, has 1,000 photos, so people can just scroll endlessly, and Google knows that this Google business profile is active, so they are more likely to prefer it over other Google business profiles. And then lastly is a review strategy. So this is something we can't help as much with. So we told Elijah that he had to go through a list of all of his past clients and call them and text them for a Google review. But you also should give them more instructions. They shouldn't just say, yeah, 5 stars, great service. They, in the review, should describe, again, what they did, where they did it. And if they're even able to add a photo in that review as well, that'll go a long way. Google loves reviews that have photos. And if there's any review that has a photo, it's usually prioritized at the top. So Google loves that stuff. All right, so we got the address, we did the optimization. Now is the website structure. So all they had to do for their Google business profile was to just continue gathering more reviews, add more photos. And if they want to expand into a different location, they can open a new Google business profile in that location to get leads there, because your Google business profile only helps you rank in that immediate city. But if you're living in a very, very big city and there's different pockets and areas, you're going to get the best chance if you have another Google business profile with a new name and a new address in that other location as well. So now that we're done talking about the Google business profile, now we need to talk about the website. So the website supplements the Google business profile. And most companies, what they do is they just have one service page. So it's like the homepage and then the service page, and they just list out everything that they do. You know, they do kitchen, bathroom, basement, whatever. The problem is that one page is not going to rank for everything. You can't have one page that ranks for basements and bathrooms and kitchens. That's not how Google works. And it actually ends up ranking for nothing. What you need to do is you need to have a dedicated page for each service and each location, because Google loves pages that are completely relevant to what the person is searching for. So for example, if someone is searching for a kitchen renovation in Oakville, is Google going to prefer the company that has a specific page talking about kitchen renos in Oakville? Or is it going to prefer the company that just has a generic service page talking about all their services in all of Canada? It kind of makes sense. So you have to go through and make a dedicated page for each location. I have a whole guide talking about how we did all this. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a ton of pages that you need to make for each city and each location, which can be usually 20 plus. So you need to go ahead and start making those pages. Again, so just Google has more context of what you do and where you do it. So now we know what pages we got to make. We got to make a page for each service we do in each city. Now we got to understand what actually goes into each page. So here's a brief summary of what goes on into each page. You got to have a clear headline that mentions the service and the location. So if you see on their homepage, they're explicitly saying Oakville Home Renovation Contractors. So they're being very clear about what they do on their homepage. Then you got to have a few detailed opening paragraphs about what they do. So that's what they got right here. They got a nice checklist saying what makes them different, and they have a good introduction paragraph. Then you need a project gallery. It's super, super important if you're a general contractor, and they have links that take to the people here. And down here, they have a bunch of social proof, which is really good. And our process section is really good just to give more info, why I choose this section, and then a clear contact form with a phone number. So Gracia added it to the top of their page, which makes it like impossible for people to miss. And then an FAQ section, you can add this just to give Google more context again about what you do, and so that you can add more words to the page so that it prefers your page over other people. So here are the results. So within 2 weeks, we were just able to do the Google business profile stuff. We didn't even get a chance to do all the pages for the website. Like that comes after, and it supplements it even more. But within just 2 weeks, he received several requests for quotes, and some were regular remodeling jobs that were just 30 to 60K, and some were huge remodeling jobs that are 100 to 200K. And you can also start getting quotes like this with this process if you stick with it. He's currently ranking like this in his entire city. So this is Oakville. He's ranking top 2. So he's getting so much more traffic and so many more quotes because he was just able to fix his Google business profile. And it's so important. So again, if you're a general contractor, if you're a service-based business and you want the same results like these, there's a link in the description to book a call with my team, and then we can audit your whole account and see what makes sense. We have a 90-day money-back guarantee if you're not happy. Again, the link is in the description. You can book a strategy call with my team. We're going to see what's wrong, what's right. We're going to make a custom plan for your market. We're going to look at your competitors and tell you what you can realistically expect. The other option is I have a full local SEO guide. If you just search near local SEO course, you're going to see this YouTube video right here. I have the entire process mapped out. You can watch it. You can do it all yourself. Again, or you can book a call with my team. Hope you found this useful, and I'll see you guys later.